because people need to know how like important this is. This is actually important. There's a lot of stuff to uncover here that I really needed to cover before, but I didn't. What's going on, guys? Spartan D, as you know, it's just like the channel says. I'm really trying to get away from. Hey guys, what's going on? That's what I won't say I hate that, but it's like the same stuff. So I'm trying to get away from that. If you guys have suggestions on what an intro could be or should be for me, let me know about that. But this is something that I did not cover in the last video, and this will probably be the next video that you see. If not, it might be the next one like tomorrow, because I haven't put out a video today as of this date, October 5th, 2021. But in the base, I kind of glossed over this. I didn't really cover this tech tree. So you go into the base at the bottom. This is level 40. This when you unlock this, and then they'll take you through. And I believe I did talk about the crystals that you got. If I didn't, you get around like, what was it? It was like above 500 crystals. It was a lot. It was like almost 1,000 crystals that you just got from like doing every single one of these, like unlocking. Before I even go into that, this is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now it's 7 here that you just, I believe you got 100 for. It was either 50 or 100. I'm pretty sure it was 100 every single time. But then one of them gave 300. And I'm not sure if it was 300 plus that 100 as well, or just the 300. You got 2 of the crates. I believe it was 2 of the crates. Just 2 of the crates? I'm not sure. But it's roughly around like 1,000 crystals that you got just from doing all of these, right? And they, they say like, oh, you need to do this to grab this here and all that stuff. Which, it's great. It's nice, but it doesn't really like it's not all that great. So like I'm gonna just get through this as soon as I possibly can, as quickly as I can, but not like gloss over anything, go into as much detail as I possibly can. The magnetic actuator, this is not something that you should really concern yourself with at the moment, just because of how the novice mission is pushing you. It's pushing you to basically craft these high pressure pipes, these restoration gels, and these nanosynthetic threads to make this advanced life support system. And it's going to cost you, this is water, this is the food, and this is the power supply, which you should have a surplus amount of. And as you can see, mine probably looks a lot different than yours, and I'll explain why. Or it might not. Yours might look better than mine. But the point is that what you want to be doing is, it's only an hour, right? So what you want to do, I'm gonna make 3 of these here. You wanna make these in bulk if you're not gonna be like on the game, and make sure you come back to grab these. I'm doing this because by the time this is done, I have another one done, and I'll likely be going to sleep around midnight, which is pretty bad, but I'll be making videos, so it is what it is. I usually go to bed around 10. That's usually when I like to go to sleep, but with this game, there's not that much information, so it's like I'd rather get this info out to you guys ASAP, so you guys aren't like sitting there like struggling to figure out and getting frustrated, because I got frustrated at one point trying to figure out like, what does this do? How do I use this? This is dumb. I don't understand. And there's like no guides on this, and the game isn't showing me what it is I need to do. Like, why is it like this? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's frustrating. Nobody wants to go through that. So, every now and then they have this little icon above their heads, and they'll give you, they'll give you gold, they'll give you some fun level stuff to upgrade your character's bond level, which is actually, as you can see there was something I just simply couldn't unlock because I don't have Rebecca, her fun level up yet, which I really needed to do. So here we go. We made some more. As you you can see here, reach the level 5 this level 2 to unlock. Otherwise, you only have these options, and then some options you only get when their wisdom, their physique, or what's the other one? It's wisdom, it's physique, and then there is, what's the mystery one? Emotion. So, and there's crafting and there's dexterity. There's like, I believe there's 5 different ones. Let's just see. Yeah, there's a lot of the interface that they just like don't really go over. Like even some of this stuff, like I'm just now looking at this like for the first time. They're showing what characters are on the expedition from the previous video. You know, when you're at the main hub, you have an arrow that you, if you're not paying attention to it, you won't see it, because when they do the tutorial, I remember it not being that obvious and like, okay, how do we get here? But click that arrow, that arrow to the left of your character, and then it takes you to this interface. You go to access request, and then it'll have this here. It'll have like tasks, and you know, fastest, fast, slow, slowest, and then yeah. So what you want to do is always do the slowest one. There's really no other reason to do the other ones unless you're like really trying to get out the expedition quest done for the weekly. Otherwise, you just want to do the slowest one. Even when you're just playing through the game, that's what you want to do. So this shows the ones that are on your team, and it's sorting by traits instead of sorting by vitality. It's interesting. It's interesting that they have this sorted, but they don't have it like ascending and descending. That's interesting. So it's going to show your healthiest first in terms of energy, and then the ones who are lower will be down here. But it has different tabs for them. Ones who are resting, everybody's essentially, you know, at full capacity, minus the ones who are working. So there's that. That's the member overview right there. It's pretty, you know, general. It's not too much there. And this is kind of just like an easier way. Instead of, you know, clicking through this and then grabbing it, you also don't have to like do these individually. You can just simply come here and look at that. You just claim them all. You don't even have to look at them. It claims everything that's available. Same thing with an ideas. This one though, you don't get to choose which one. It just does it randomly for you. And I made sure to leave some just to show this off. And here we, you know, it's pretty good that we got this dexterity. So awesome, right? Now, if you just got your base, or you've had it for a while, and you were thinking like, well, you know, how do I upgrade this? Or you haven't just, you know, care that much because it's like, oh great, another one of these, which is understandable. Turn on the MCB power save mode. So using power save mode reduces the resources required for Felix maintenance by at least 80%. It also gives you an overloaded chip. Interesting. Okay, so let's look into this. No? Really? Isn't this question mark is supposed to Okay, well it should have been, you know, giving us some information on this, but I suppose you just kind of okay, so this is pretty much like something that you do when you're pretty much like going to sleep or like going somewhere and you won't be able to, you know, log in a final gear, and you just set this timer, which is good. This is great. You can only set it up to 6 hours. That's cool. I won't set this off now because I'm still active, but I will definitely start doing this when I go to sleep. And the reason that's important is because, so let's just head here, right? I have this set, and you can overload it using these overloaded chips. You see I have 31 of these, right? So I can just straight up, it takes 6. So 6 equates to an hour. 1 overloaded chip equates to 10 minutes. And you can accelerate this up to an hour to get 1 of these, right? That's what you're able to do for 1. And I'm sure you can continuously do that. It just has a set to just 1. I'm sure the game just expects you to only have like 1 of these in at a time, but you can set up. I've only set up to 3. I'm sure you can set up as many as you have material wise, but we don't really need to do that right this second. But let's come here. That's I should explain these before I go into something else. Let's just start here since we're, we were just at the garage. So the garage is the main place that you're going to be sitting at for the most part. And the reason being is because these are the materials that you're going to need pretty much for like everything that you do as far as the base is concerned. And it also has to do with the advanced life support system. So this is like the perfect place to start at. You need these to upgrade the facilities, the different facilities. See, my garage is level 2. I've already done this one time. You need to continuously grab these, and you'll, I have quite a bit amount. I'm like over the limit for power, and I upgraded that. I figured water would likely be the one that I would have to upgrade last, and I was correct. I've yet to go over the cap for that, but I'll definitely go over the cap for food and power. But you want to get up as much of these as possible so you can get a magnetic actuator, but that's on the lower end of your priorities, and it's mainly because of the novice mission. So you really just only want to focus on advanced life support systems. And the reason being is so you can upgrade this to level 3. Now, the actuator is very important because it increases your, your productivity and every single one of the facilities that you apply this to. And in the tutorial, you already applied one of these to some of the areas. Now, what you basically have to do, this is another reason and why you're just not going to want to like do this for a long time. And I'll say a long time, but it's probably just like a day or 2. If you're like really dedicated to doing this, it's just like a day or 2. The garage needs to be level 5, which is here. We're here, and the bridge needs to be level 6. And you need these. You see how many it's already costing just to get to, level 3. And you also need to upgrade the bridge. So you need to upgrade these together. They go in pairs usually, which is really important. So let's head over to, this is the research lab. That's the intelligence room. Where's the bridge? Where is the bridge? This is the dorms. Where's the bridge? Interesting. It's just not. I wonder what they mean by the bridge. Bridge? Well, interesting. I'm not sure what it is that they're referring to when they talk about that. This is saying the bridge as well. The bridge reached level 3. But what is the bridge? That's just something else I have to figure out at some point. But this is the recycling room is like pretty much like the second most important because it also gives you these materials. So you dismantle these and you're gonna get this no matter what. But then you also have the chance to get these. So even while you're doing that in the garage, you can also do it here. And you also get these from just, you know, doing random stuff. So you can get like 2 of these done at the same time pretty much. And then the last one, if you really need to accelerate it, you can do so, right? I'm just gonna accept that and claim all of them. And the dorms are pretty self-explanatory. Like, you set these up to, you know, get your characters to, you know, it makes it so more than one character can, you know, sleep in a dorm, which is great. Because you're gonna, you know, as you upgrade, you're gonna have more characters that can be in one of these facilities at a time, and then you're gonna need, you know, more beds. So that's pretty important. Then you come into the research lab, and what the research lab's allowing you to do. I'm actually gonna cover this last, and then it'll be a reason for that. But we'll just come to the intelligence room, and it's analyzing stuff, whatever that is. We don't have any available clues though, so we're not able to, you know, do that. And you also need, which I've already upgraded, which is why that didn't pop up. But this what is this? Buff details. Oh, that's for her. I don't actually remember what this intelligence room is for. Like, what the clues give. I'd like to say that it gives materials for this tech development room, but I'm not entirely sure on that, so we'll just skip that for now. This is another one. This is pretty standard. It's just, you know, your general water supply. You just have people set in there. Not too much there. Like, same thing with the food storage room. Same thing. You just want to make sure you set the characters who are able to, you know, get bonuses in there. And then the same with the power supply room. It's pretty much just, you know, giving power to like all the other facilities, which is important. And then the food and water, so everybody is, you know, taken care of and all that good stuff. You know, pretty standard stuff. But so what you want to do is you go into you click that tab there, and this is important. This is important here because of this room right here, the research lab, which you also want to get upgraded as soon as possible, which we do. And you're gonna want to continue upgrading this and probably have more people come in here as soon as you possibly can. And the reason you want to continuously, you know, craft these is because you have to use these as well. You have to use these everywhere. So you want to make as many of them as possible. This is basically like the whale oil, the oil to, you know, make the machine work. You have to use these materials, which I don't have any of those, but I do have some of these, which I'm not gonna use here simply because I need it for something else. But what you generally want to do is take that, set it up here, you know, as many as you can muster to put in. You can up the quantity to however many you have, and set it here to, you know, be worked on. And then you use those materials to come here for research and development to then increase this. Now, it increases the gold that you obtain for each stage that you clear. The reason this is important, like the sooner you get to this, especially, and there's another one that includes experience, the better it's going to be for you in progressing through the game. Which, you know, pretty pretty self-explanatory, I'd say. And this is for the expeditions that you do, which we, you know, just briefly went over. And it increases the chances of you getting a great success, which then increases your odds of getting more of the bond materials and the other materials that also go along with that, which is great. And this is expanding on that in the specific region in which you do it. So you got to get the level to, you know, you really just need to focus on these. You need to focus on this one, of course. And then you need to focus these out to get here. Because then it helps you out in the garage, in the recycling room, the intelligence room, reduces the survey expedition time. So it's important. It's very important that you get the Felix level increase as soon as you possibly can. The more you invest in this, the more productivity you have. The more productivity you have, the less time you have to spend in here. The less time you have to spend in here, the more materials that you can craft. Until it's going to get to a point. It's going to get to a point where you're gonna have like so much stuff going on here, and it's just gonna like, it's all gonna flow into each other. But then, like, as you can see, like, the more you do this, right, you eventually get to a point where you start getting stats for your pilot. This is why this is so important to do. This right here. I know it was like 20 minutes or so to get to this point, and just to say like, hey, you need to do this so you can get stats. But you get, it's more than stats. Like you know, you get the bond rewards and stuff. You get gold, you get parts, you get a whole bunch of stuff. The base is like so important. It's actually just like so important. These are just flat boosts. And then it eventually gets to a point where it starts specializing in what it is that you get access to, in which you can upgrade. And then this is like the biggest one. Increases the pilot's damage dealt to boss monsters in any type of mission. This right here is your bread and butter. The reason being is conflict zone. It's really just conflict zone that this, like, it's gonna matter everywhere. But conflict zone and combat training, especially, and supply prep, those three is where this goes to shine, like, tremendously. And you can see here, same thing. It's just you get it sooner because it's just straight up battle prep. Now, this one you want to get as soon as possible because it increases the experience gained by pilots for clearing a stage, which it doesn't matter that much, but it's still very nice. But you want to upgrade that as soon as possible so you can get to this here, and it reduces the gold required for upgrading your parts, and it's going to go to the frames, and then like it's more investment here to then have to invest less gold into upgrading your parts. Very important. Here, this just increases, you know, the expedition success. So, and then here you get some more upgrades for your stats for, you know, your light frames, your heavy frames, and this increases your max attack just straight up. And there's medium frames, medium cockpits. It reduces the expedition time, which is huge. And then this is more stuff for the base. It reduces gold for upgrading weapon parts, which is huge. Increases the amount of tech cores obtained in the research lab, which is huge. Reduces the gold required for upgrading mount parts. So like, you got to do a lot of stuff. Like, I know it seems like, wow, this is a whole lot I have to worry about, but like, just do it every day. It's actually just not as like overwhelming as you think, which is why I'm trying to like go through this like as slowly as I possibly can, but also not like drag it for too long. But here you want to yeah, it's like you're going, like, this investment is going to like progress you even further into the game. And the people who invest in this versus the people who don't, that's going to make the difference between you feeling stuck and people who just like glide through the game. So it's up to you whether you want to or not. I would highly advise that you do, because this matters. The holy crap, this matters. Like, it matters a lot. It matters so much. Increases the amount of energy obtained when a pilot recharges their mech in any type of mission. Meaning your recharge rate is going to be increased. It's huge. More health, damage reduction, like evasion, max defense straight up, HP straight up, the pilot stamina, just flat stats again, more flat stats. Like, look at this. This is insane. You actually should do these. But here's what I was talking about previously. I don't have any here, so bless me. I don't have any of these tech cores, so I won't be able to upgrade this, but bless me. Excuse me, guys. I would say that food's probably super important. Power will end up being more important as you know, upgrade the facility. So, excuse me. It's like, it's important, but it's probably not as important as like the water and the food in the beginning. But the power is going to matter a lot to keep, you know, everything up and functional. So this is just, you know, increasing the chances in the expeditions, and this is, you know, it's reducing the time for, you know, you having to synthesize stuff in the base. Really huge. It's increases, you know, the amount that you gain as time progresses, which is huge, because as you upgrade the tree below this one, you know, you're gonna want to be able to get more as time goes on, right? Especially the more you expand it, because there's a lot of pilots. So yeah, and you know, it just continues onwards. It's the same thing. Increases the chance of additional rewards from recycling room, and you know, it continues further. It's just, you know, more upgrades for the base. Pretty much the same thing, right? And then you get to, it just gets to a point where you just get raw stats for your pilots. Raw stats on top of percentages. It's going to just, like, this is worth it. that's pretty much what it boils down to. Like, this is something that you should be investing your time into. Like, as soon as you unlock it, make it your business, make it your priority. When you get on, turn this into a part of your routine. As you go through the game, this should be one of the first things that you tend to before you touch anything else in the game that is not time-based. Okay? But that's pretty much it. That should about cover everything. I pretty much got through like what needed to be like talked about in less than 30 minutes, which is huge. So that's great. If I did miss anything, however, feel free to let me know in the comments. If you guys have any more suggestions for videos, also leave that in the comments. I read them all, because you guys help me to become more informed, and the more informed I am, the better I can facilitate for other people who are not as informed as you are, or as you guys make me, or, you know, from the information that I find, and then they find this video, and then it's all laid out for them, and they don't have to, you know, go searching like, you know, everyone else had to. So it just makes it easier for, you know, the community to then have to, you know, they don't have to worry about too much. They just come here, they get the information, and then they can just cruise through, not get frustrated. So yeah, any suggestions that you guys have for videos, anything that you guys want me to cover, you know, feel free to let me know in the comments. I appreciate all of your feedback. It really is appreciated. Thank you for the support for the channel. And yes, I will see you guys in the next video.